And joining us now with more on the Trump documents case is conservative lawyer George Conway. He's also contributing columnist at the Washington Post. George, great to see you. I don't know if you heard some of what former Congressman Will Hurd, Republican Congressman Will Hurd, was just saying a few moments ago. He's a former CIA officer, George, and he was saying that lives could have been put in danger, may have been put in danger by the former president by retaining these documents and refusing to return them. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I'm certainly not going to dispute the opinion of a former CIA officer, and I think it's pretty clear from the allegations in the indictment and from the news reports that this material is very, very sensitive, includes methods and sources information, which means that if the material is released, it could compromise the sources and possibly get them killed. So it's a very, very serious thing. And if you read the indictment, it's just very clear that Donald Trump did not care one whit about whether or not he was compromising any of that information and making it potentially available to people who could walk in the bathroom and bust the door down, as you were pointing out. And remember, the door's only locked from the inside. So somebody had to be in there. And if no one was in there, somebody could walk right into the bathroom. And we'd have that problem that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who has teenagers, and happy Father's Day to you, George, anybody who has teenagers know you can get into a locked bathroom door. I'm just going to, not to get too lighthearted with this, but George.
We won't get too.
Yeah, but George, what do you think about the challenges facing the special counsel in all of this? Of course, the judge, Aileen Cannon, is a Trump appointee. She's been under scrutiny for her past rulings that have favored the former president. But there's also just the prospect that this case could just take a long time, and you may not get any kind of a verdict before, probably not before the primaries and caucuses, but maybe not even before the election of 2024. Is it that big of a challenge, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think the challenge, that will be the challenge. The challenge is getting this case to trial. I think it will ultimately get to trial at some point, probably next year. And that's where also the judge has a great deal of impact. The judge's discretion in timing, deciding motions and granting continuances is something that could delay the case. But I do think and I hope that Judge Cannon is cognizant of how important this case is, not just to the defendant, but to the United States of America, to the government and to its people, and the importance of getting it resolved on a timely basis. And I think that if she acts consistently with the way a very efficient federal judge, a very smart federal judge would in any other district, I think there's a good chance she could get this case tried next year, and that would be to everyone's benefit.
And let me ask you, Trump has been railing against all of his political foes on Truth Social. You're no stranger to that sort of thing. And that includes the special counsel, Jack Smith, who he called deranged. What do you think about these attacks on the special counsel and the potential to impact this case? And I guess also potentially, I don't know, possibly becoming a security problem for the special counsel and his team.
Well, it's clear that Jack Smith isn't a deranged person. I don't think these attacks on Jack Smith are going to deter him. I do think that he is going to be the same Jack Smith no matter what Donald Trump says about him, and that he's going to do everything he can to take this case to trial and be professional about it. And I don't think he's going to be intimidated by it. I think the security issues there, the Justice Department is already confronting them. There was a security team, as I understand it from the reporting for your people on the ground in Miami last week. There was a heavy security for the federal prosecutors, and there will continue to be such security. And I don't think that is going to impact them at all. I think they're just going to plow through.
And a Trump advisor tells CNN that Trump's co-defendant and body man, Will Nauta, will continue to travel and work with the former president. What do you think? I mean, do you think that there's a chance that Nauta will flip on Trump? Is it possible that Trump will go after and try to blame all of this on Nauta? I mean, knowing Trump's track record, what are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, my thought about Nauta flipping is I think it's possible, but I don't think it's going to benefit Nauta that much because Nauta doesn't have that much to offer the government because the government has such strong evidence already. They don't really, they have basically all the information they need about what Nauta did on Trump's behalf. Now, he could plead, but I don't think it's going to, I think he's going to not get an easy sentence because of the fact that he is out there and did not plead earlier. And as for Trump, I think would I don't think he's going to be able to change the outcome by his conduct toward Nauta.
And it's been a few days now since the indictment came down, and you've been a lifelong Republican, George. I mean, do you think that the Republican Party has really come to grips with the magnitude and the importance of this documents case? And I guess I was also wondering what your thoughts were on this deflection that we've been hearing in recent days. Well, there are two forms of justice in Washington, one for Democrats, one for Republicans. What is your response to all of that? When you hear that, what comes to mind, George? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's complete nonsense that the Republicans are pretending that this is somehow some unjust prosecution. They clearly aren't coming to grips with the seriousness of these allegations, as reflected by the fact that they were out criticizing the special counsel and the indictment before they had even seen it. And the fact of the matter is, if these charges had been leveled against a Democrat with the same evidence, the same substantial evidence, they would be calling for that Democrat to be put in jail, and it's completely hypocritical, and it's really just a disgrace because this is the Republicans have always professed to be the party of law and order, and here they're basically saying no. They're basically saying that we don't want to enforce the law. We don't want to enforce the law against one of ours, and that's just we're just bouncing our way to becoming a third world country because of that.
And George, at the end of the day, do you think Donald Trump goes to jail as a result of this case? And does that happen before the 2024 election?
I think there is a substantial possibility that he goes to jail. I think that he is going to be found guilty of multiple felonies in this and other cases. And I think I think that given the fact that he shows no remorse and no willingness to bear any responsibility for his misconduct, I think that a substantial sentence of incarceration is in order. Now, the question will be, what kind of security can be provided for a former president in a U.S. Bureau of Prisons facility? I don't really know how they're going to handle that, but I think there's every reason to believe that they're going to want to work something out where he is not able to walk the streets. At a minimum, they could use some kind of home detention at one of his residences.